Good evening, everyone, from St. Louis. Lots of fireworks and smiling faces down here right now. Those smiling faces wearing red on their head.
The volume here is tremendous from these Cardinal fans, but don't be sad because we may be a little bit down, but we're not out by a long shot. We're going to have live coverage from here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis coming up next.
All right, Ruth, we're going to tell you how we try to cheer the Twins on back here in Minnesota, and we'll explain how stock market turmoil is helping a local store under attack from a dart.
We'll begin a special assignment series exploring the unique family ties, lives that is, of homosexuals raising kids.
Well, we had our first taste of snow today. I'll tell you whether or not there's more in our forecast.
We'll have those stories and the full Eyewitness News team coverage on the World Series coming up next.
You're watching KSTP-TV, Minnesota's News Channel 5.
Live from Minnesota's news channel, KSTP Channel 5. Stan Turner, Ruth Spencer, Dave Dahl, and Mark Curtis bring you the Eyewitness News Update.
And good evening again, everybody, live from St. Louis. So it won't be a sweep. So what, are we downhearted? Are we ready to throw in the Homer Hankies? No way.
No
way.
Absolutely not. This is a time when our Twins need our support more than ever. I'm behind them 100%, and so is all of Minnesota.
Yeah.
You betcha. Let's
Tell it to those people.
Yeah, these are the fans down here, the Cardinal fans. Let's go into Busch Stadium right now where Mark Curtis is on the field waiting to give us some reaction in there. Mark?
Ruth, thanks very much. You know, Mike Smithson, I think this was a typical Cardinals victory. 3-1, they dink you, and then all of a sudden they take the lead. Can Tom Kelly, do you think, be second-guessed for not pulling Berenguer in time?
Well, you know, you hate to second-guess Tom Kelly. He's made all the right moves all year. I'm sure he had some idea in his mind what he wanted to do. You could always second-guess, say, he could bring in a left-hander and get Terry Pendleton out of the game and make him bring in the right-hander and probably make him sacrifice bunt. But like I said, Tom Kelly's made all the right moves.
Okay, we're looking at the game-winning RBI by Coleman. When he came around, that's a ball that normally doesn't get by Gary Gaetti.
Well, they don't, and I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 0-2 pitch. And it looked like Juan was trying to really bury the ball inside. He inside-outed swing, and there's really nothing you can do in that situation. I'm sure they had Gaetti playing off the line a little bit to guard the hole between short and third, and he tried to make the pitch in, and you got to give Coleman a lot of credit. He had a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, we're not trying to pin anything on Tom Kelly, but it was obvious to me that Berenguer didn't have his stuff going. It would have been very easy to go to Dan Schatzeder earlier. We'll talk about that in just a second, but right now let's go up to Rob Lear, who's standing by with Gary Gaetti.
We certainly are, and Gary, the mood in the clubhouse. World Series losses harder to take than perhaps any of the other losses this season?
No. The guys are all right. It's, they just came back and beat us, that's all. Wasn't like we gave the game away. We just know we're going to come back tomorrow and do better. I ain't no doubt about that. It took us a while to get used to the surroundings and in game situations.
How about Tudor?
Tudor was good tonight. He was real good. We hadn't faced him in so long, I forgot really what he had. And I can see why he's as effective as he is. I mean, he's found his little niche or whatever, and he works it well in this ballpark.
The ball that got by you in the seventh, I mean, you were disgusted. I mean, those were your immediate reactions. You feel that you should have had that ball?
Well, the thing about it was I couldn't, in that situation, I can't play on the line. But I thought to myself, you know, he's not getting around on the ball, you know, and then to hit one right down the line where I could have maybe been over, it just irritated me. I can't give him that much of the shortstop side of the field, but he hadn't made any contact, and I didn't know where he was going to hit the ball, and I can't give him that much of the field, but watching him swing, I probably should have been over farther because he wasn't even close.
All right. Well, thanks for taking this time, Gary Gaetti. Let's go back out to the field.
Thanks very much, Rob. It'll be interesting to see how they react to this. In Detroit, you lose on a home run late in the game after coming back from a 5-run deficit. They were psyched about that. They saw good things in coming back from that 5-run deficit, even though they lost. Tonight, they lose a game where they were leading it. Which is tougher to come back from?
Well, I don't think either one of these games is going to bother them very much. I thought it was a very good ball game, and you got to be very impressed with the way Les Straker handled himself tonight. We talked about in the pregame show how Whitey was setting up the umpires for the balk. The umpires called the balk early in the game, and it seemed like Les really dug deep inside, and he got himself together, and he pitched a great ball game. The way he pitched tonight, nobody in that clubhouse can be disappointed. This was a typical Cardinal game. They got a couple runners on, and they got the big base hit when they needed it, something they didn't do in a dome. So